Hello, and welcome to Culture Shocked, the pop culture podcast brought to you by four aging millennials and our outdated opinions. I'm your host, Corey, and with me as always is...
Wait, you guys wanted me to record tonight? But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters. I'm Adrian.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I'm Doug.
I'm Mike, and never tell me the odds.
Guys, we're going to talk about Star Wars, if you didn't get it from that. And you know what? The Jedi are cool and all, but if only you knew the power of the dark side. So, with Star Wars Day right around the corner, literally a couple days from now, I figured it was the right time to get in and talk about one of our favorite franchises of all times. There's lots of good, lots of bad. Let's start with some of the best. According to three of us, anyway, we all love Star Wars, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Doug's answers surprised me. I don't know if he does, but I think he
I'm
does.
just not one of those fans who can't see no fault with the franchise that's riddled with faults.
By the end of these episodes,
You're riddled with faults.
nobody is going to
Nice.
know if Doug likes Star Wars or not. Because we still can't figure it out.
Like, I think he secretly hates Star Wars.
If I hated Star Wars, I would be proud of that. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah,
Doug's very
that
proud of
is
the
true.
things he hates.
I see many faults and cracks in this franchise, but I don't see a lot of them when it comes to what we're talking about today.
There are very few, in my opinion, in the original trilogy faults. I actually had to dig deep for the things I don't like about the original three. There's so many good things that I think nostalgia definitely plays a big part of it for me. Because when I was growing up, Adrian and we watched a lot of really shitty sci-fi movies with our uncle Rob. He loves that genre, and I think he might have been the one that got us into it. Adrian, if I'm not wrong about that, I'm pretty sure he's the one that showed it to us for the first time.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. My childhood's a blur, so I don't remember much. I smoked a lot of weed.
All the drugs that we did, and all the horse tranquilizers we took when we were like 10.
I've taken a lot of death sticks. Oh wait, that's the wrong.
I wasn't even 100% sure that Star Wars existed. I thought I made it up through a fever
Are you guys
dream.
making fun of Carrie Fisher right now?
Wait, no, I was doing death sticks. Like from the prequels.
We're not talking about the prequels.
That's what I said. Oh, wrong series.
You were talking about not sure Star Wars existed, the series being a blur. That sounds like an actress.
Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. Whether she remembered being...
a part of it or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure by the sequels she didn't even know what she was doing. Like they just put her in costume and said, "Say these lines," and she's like, "All right."
Fuck it.
$20 is $20, am I right? Anyway.
Yeah, Mike, so what was your first foray into Star Wars?
Yeah, like my dad, my brother. Well, mostly my dad got both my brother and I into it. Which I was kind of shocked because my dad's not really a big sci-fi kind of person. So I don't know why he was so into Star Wars. Like everything he watches and loves is usually super serious. Like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is one of his favorite movies.
That is not a serious movie.
Well, no. He loves comedies, but I mean, like it's real.
Oh.
Like that's real. Like there's no like made up shit in it.
He's
you
not
know?
like a big fantasy sci-fi person typically.
Right, exactly. So
Well, I think that's kind of the beauty of the original Star Wars.
You're absolutely right.
It got like sci-fi more of the mainstream audience.
Nobody liked sci-fi back then except a very niche crowd.
to be fair, Star Wars did become this huge phenomena, and like there were people when it first came out that were going to see it 10 times a week because it was like, this is so amazing. Like that movie had to make, I mean, I know inflation, one of you has got to figure that out. I don't know how much fucking money that movie made.
Adjusted for inflation, Star Wars Part 4 is the highest grossing film of all time. It's like a $1 trillion movie.
It made $254,000 its opening day in 1977.
And if a movie makes that now, it's doing good.
Yeah.
A movie make that now, they only lost 10,000% of their original investment.
Yeah, that's right. Fucking Roland Emmerich Moonfall, $140 million budget bullshit.
And that's the other beauty of Star Wars, the first ever one that came out, and even the two that followed it. I'm sure the budget was way higher for the other two, but like he was not working with very much.
No, he wasn't.
kind of just a coattail of what you were saying, Mike, about how like it was unexpected fandoms. The only reason I ever saw the original trilogy when I was younger is because my grandma had the VHS trilogy for some reason.
Is it that trilogy with the Darth Vader on the cover?
Yeah, like the black box and everything. Yeah, and I don't know why she owned that, but she did. And one day I was like, I'm gonna watch all 3 of these movies, and she's like, "That's really long."
That cover alone is extremely enticing.
Oh yeah, it is. Your grandma's awesome.
Yeah, Mike does a decent Darth Vader.
Yeah, actually, that was pretty good. I mean, there's so many things. There's so many like reasons you can say that the first Star Wars.
Darth, we're trying to
Darth.
We're trying to talk seriously.
Darth, we're trying to talk.
I knew having Darth Vader on your podcast is a terrible idea.
So much editing.
Right, so much editing. God damn it!
It is a terrible idea because if you call him out on his breathing, he's going to force choke you through the camera.
Don't fail me again, Admiral. Pointing to the next guy in line.
Hey, Doug, we're not trying to show what Adrian's penis size is. Don't do that again.
Oh, was he doing? Were you doing like a little force joke there?
I was trying to crush the little head that I saw in the camera.
I thought Doug was saying wrap it up. I'm like, wow, this is a fast episode.
If Doug does that and Adrian's head pops, I quit the podcast.
Yeah, I'll be done.
It's all right. Adrian's got a lightsaber.
I pulled out my. It's not going to help me against the.
Okay.
Right now it's the Mace.
Yeah, so
Oh.
you have no chance of winning as Mace Windu. We know that
Whoa.
much.
Unless Doug is
Whoa.
Django.
Hey, we're not talking about. We're not talking about the prequels again. But Mace Windu is one of the best lightsaber wielders of all time.
That's why he got his arm chopped off and kicked out of a window.
Anakin betrayed him. Okay, let's talk about the original trilogy.
But yeah, original.
guys, we'll get to that.
Liar.
That's some of the heated debate you guys can get ready for in this one too. There are a couple certain subjects we're going to get to that Doug is going to piss all of us off.
Yeah, but no, what happened with George Lucas is so he directed, before Star Wars, he directed American Graffiti. And that movie was met with pretty, positive consensus among, movie critics and stuff. It made enough money that they gave George Lucas the freedom to make a passion project. And that's how we got Star Wars.
And by freedom, he means barely any money, and the cast
Barely any budget.
just had to take cuts constantly.
George Lucas had to work in every area. He fired his editor because he wasn't editing the movie right. A lot of people say the editing saved Star Wars because if you can find some of the clips of the original, what it looked like, it was terrible. George Lucas got that man the fuck out of there. He said, "Nope, I guess I'm doing this too."
I always heard this saying that the Star Wars movies are great in spite of George Lucas, not because of George Lucas. So I'm curious what you guys feel about that.
I'm not a huge fan of George Lucas's line writing. He's not a good script writer.
No.
Which is why one of the best parts of those movies changed a lot of those lines and made them good.
You say good. I say phoned in, like I've never seen anything phoned in, but I actually think that's the weakest aspect of the first 6 Star Wars movies is the dialogue.
Oh yeah, the dialogue's not good.
It's better in it's better in the prequels than the OG, but I think that's a matter of the time.
You think the dialogue is better in the prequels than the original trilogy?
Doug likes trade talk. So
You gotta understand. No, even like politics aside, like watching that drama unfold in those movies is pretty awesome.
I will say Hayden Christensen and what's her face were pretty rough.
Natalie Portman,
the mighty Thor.
the mighty Thor.
It's pretty rough. Well, I'm making a comparison and contrast to the current one, so I have to talk about it. I have to mention that, make my point.
Whoa!
About Anakin and what's her face were
Padme.
Yeah, it was kind of rough.
It was awful.
It was rough.
Worst part of Attack of the Clones.
It was no better. Like Han and Leia were no better.
Whoa!
What?
That is so wrong.
There was way more chemistry between.
There was zero chemistry. There was more chemistry between the brother and sister. God damn it! And that was weird.
That was done on purpose to throw you off.
No, it wasn't. It was done on purpose because George Lucas didn't know they were going to be brother and sister.
No, I don't agree with that.
Then he did it really weird. Then he's in love with his sister.
George Lucas is a weird motherfucker.
That could be.
Does George Lucas have a sister?
I don't know.
I think he's married to her.
He did have a sister, but she disappeared, and I'm pretty sure she's in his basement.
The only weird part about
always
that
knew.
is in the third
always knew.
movie of that trilogy is when Carrie Fisher says, "I think I always knew," and you're like, then why did you kiss him
Multiple times.
twice? At least twice that I can count.
And she blew him once.
There's that deleted scene.
Off camera
Oh Jesus!
for coke.
Oh my god!
Wow. We're not talking about the after parties after the wrap of the movie.
Carrie Fisher and Maria McCormick, Marsha Brady. Oh boy.
Man.
No, but I disagree that there are people that just say, just like fucking John Carpenter in Halloween 2, like he got drunk the night before he had to like come out with a script, and he's like, hey, what if they're brother and sister? Like that was phoned in because he was drunk. He's like, fuck, I don't know, I need something. But George Lucas in The Empire Strikes Back, you know, first of all, you have Yoda saying like, no, there is another. And then you have Luke communicating with Leia like that he needs her help when he's in Cloud City. And she turns around.
Perhaps George Lucas didn't realize that he wanted them to be brother and sister until Empire Strikes Back.
That's fair.
Good point, Mike.
But she still kisses him in that movie.
His whole plan might have just been to have them both be Force sensitive,
Right.
and Leia be like a hidden Jedi lineage. It may not have been for them two to be brother and sister quite yet. Then he decided.
And it works, and it made for great storytelling in like the sequels.
Why don't we invite George Lucas onto the podcast and we'll ask him?
We'll get him on.
I'd rather not.
We'll get him, his sister.
Sorry, George.
Sister.
Be like, yeah, how did you feel about
I do disagree with Doug. I would stand behind George Lucas, reach around and tug him off, just to go visit
Behind
his
George
ranch
Lucas
one
while he
time.
was with his sister.
I mean,
I
that'd
don't
probably
care.
make it better.
That would make it a little easier, unless she looks like him.
She
Oh,
probably
God.
does.
We don't even know if he has a sister.
Beard and all.
They're identical.
Beard and all. Which makes sense since Leia and Luke are twins.
That's
Oh,
where the
yeah.
story
Plot
came-
thickens.
that's where
The
story came
plot
from.
thickens. No, I can't believe you said they don't have good chemistry, though. I find those two much more natural than fucking Anakin and Padme.
I think by like the whole I know scene, it's a lot better. But
I was gonna say that's iconic right there too.
like at first, I honestly, and I'm not saying this to be a dick or anything. In episode 4, I honestly can't stand most of Han's lines. He's just a douchebag.
Yeah, that's what makes him great. Because at the end, what makes it great is at the end he still comes back to save Luke's ass.
That's right.
He's a lovable scamp.
Yeah,
I love him. A
he's like,
scoundrel.
he's
as
like that.
Leia
He's
says.
like that uncle you don't really like, but like he's kind of necessary.
He's like the uncle you call and report to that hotline.
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa!
God damn.
You know what? Han is loyal.
Hey, you guys glad we waited till Doug could come back for this one?
Han is loyal to at least one person through the entire series.
Himself.
No, Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. Yeah, Chewbacca's his boy.
You're my boy, Chew.
Ah, nicely done.
That's because if you ever watch the Solo movie, which I kind of like that they did this in that movie. Adrian says he doesn't like how they show certain things. He doesn't like holes filled in for him sometimes.
Yeah.
But in the Han Solo movie, they show
Giggity.
why
Giggity.
Han and Chewbacca are so tight.
Giggity.
Giggity.
Jesus.
Corey, I think
I
that
swear
was,
this is not meant to be sexual, but here we are.
Corey, I think that was you that said in Solo, right? You could have done without seeing the Kessel Run.
I don't care about that. You know, it like he never said like, oh, you should hear the story someday of how I did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. He just said it did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. And then in the sequels, the joke, I heard it did the Kessel Run in
Yeah.
14 parsecs. And he goes, 12.
Wait, aren't parsecs a unit of distance, not time?
Yeah. George Lucas fucked that up.
That's always been an inconsistency. They just play on it. The second movie, the sequels, when they made that joke, they knew that and they just played on it.
That's fair.
Well, maybe in the Star Wars universe, parsec is distance.
Mike, stop giving it excuses. They just fucked up. Sometimes they just fuck up.
And my whole issue with all of that is like Mike said, holes being filled, giggity. But like, I don't know if we'll ever actually talk about Solo. So I just wanted to say real quick, I think, like Corey, I think it does work better as a throwaway line in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Because Han's just kind of a bullshitter. even Obi-Wan and Luke kind of stare at each other like, this guy's so full of shit, but we need a ride.
You never actually knew if the ship actually did that or if he was just talking shit.
Yeah, and you hear all these fucking adventures that you hear all about all these adventures that Han went on, and fucking Solo just puts it all into one adventure. Like on the same adventure, he meets Lando, he gets the Falcon, he meets Chewbacca, you learn how he gets his name, he does the Kessel Run.
So like he had one adventure.
Exactly, he had one adventure.
He's like the guy who won the Super Bowl his rookie season and then never had another good season, but kept telling people about the Super Bowl.
That is where I'll say, like, the Solo movie, it wasn't great. It wasn't awful, in my opinion, but it wasn't great. And the only thing that I think I liked the most about it is seeing how, like, why Chewie and Han are so, like, close friends.
Yes, that was cool. I liked that whole scene when he met Chewie.
I made it less than 20 minutes into that movie.
That scene's actually about 30 minutes into that movie. So.
Yeah, I didn't make it that far.
Long story short, basically Han saves Chewie, and they're like best friends from that point forward.
Yeah, Chewie's like chained up down in like almost like a Rancor pit, just chained to the wall or the floor in this mud, and he accidentally runs into him and helps him escape. It's a pretty cool scene. I like how they met.
It's kind of like Chewie became JarJar Binks by being like, "Oh, you saved me. Well, then here's my
Whoa,
life."
hey, never say that again. Never make that comparison again.
Well, in the lore, Wookiees actually like give life debts and shit like that. Jar Jar was just an unfortunate piece of shit.
I think I'm more pissed at Mike so far in this episode than Doug because he just said Chewie is like Jar Jar.
Yeah, I know. That is the quote. Hey, Doug.
I know what you're doing.
When you upload this episode, put that in the show notes.
Like
Does Mike
Jar Jar.
think Chewie is like Jar Jar?
I do a da cha cha.
I like do the
Oh, look what I had for a note. Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher have amazing chemistry in Empire Strikes Back, even better than A New Hope.
Well, considering the bar was at the lowest in New Hope, that's not hard to.
It was very low bar.
I don't think they had bad chemistry in the first movie. I think they just had like a back and forth where
I 100% agree with Doug with the chemistry being kind of bad in the first movie.
I think it was meant to be that way, though.
It was meant to be that way, yes, but it just came off as like the actors themselves didn't want to be around each other.
That's because Harrison Ford didn't want to do the movie.
But that's the problem, Mike, is
Just because something's intended doesn't mean it's not bad.
when you have an actor who doesn't want to do the movie, the chemistry is not going to be good. It's just not.
He never wanted to do any of those movies.
But Mike, think about this. In the second movie, he thought he was being put in the carbonite and dying forever. So that's why the chemistry was better, because he was like, fuck it, I'll actually act in this one.
I'll agree. I think that Harrison Ford's Han Solo is the best in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, because then he was forced to come back for the next one. He's pissed again.
he's like, you son of a bitch.
I think he's pretty I think he's the best in The Empire Strikes Back, but I think he's his funniest in Return of the Jedi. As much as that's my least favorite of this trilogy, which
He's the best part of the Battle of Endor.
Oh my god, when they're trying to get the fucking door open for the reflector show, I think I got it, and the door shut.
Another door shuts.
He's like almost like the comedy relief character in a way, without being like the fucking butt of every joke. Like he has all the comedy moments mostly, and that's fine, and I appreciate those. I just don't think he's like the strong character that everybody else paints him as personally.
I think George Lucas meant for C-3PO to be the comedy relief character.
Yeah. Well, him and R2 together are definitely like
they
the comedy
forgot
relief.
to make C-3PO funny. So,
Well, you said they forgot to make him funny?
yeah, he's just like a total like.
He's annoying.
He's not even annoying. Like he's just like there.
I think 3PO is his funniest when he's like not meaning to be.
Exactly.
When he's arguing with R2.
Or when he's like, when fucking Han and Leia first kiss, and C-3PO comes, sir, I fixed the shit. He's like, thank you. C-3PO's like, oh, you're beyond welcome. Like he doesn't even realize he just cock blocked Han.
Yeah, like those moments are good. I like those moments.
Or at the beginning of A New Hope when Luke walks away from them, he's like, I don't think he likes you. I don't like you. Talking to R2. No, I don't like you much either.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like you.
Either.
You're gonna be dead.
Okay.
Moss Eisley.
We can keep that in, right?
All right.
Yeah, because that was horrible.
Here's a fun fact for you. Those guys in Moss Eisley, and then in Jabba, the music in Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
Same dudes.
So George Lucas made up a genre of music, and it's called jizz. That's a true fact. Jizz. It's called jizz.
That had to be before jizz was a slang for.
No.
Hold on.
I'm not going to give him a pass on that.
Hold on a minute. I need to look this up.
I knew there was a reason every time Mos Eisley came on, I had to change.
Like eyes from across the.
I jizzed in my pants. Isn't that a Lonely Island song or something?
The first time the word jism was ever spoken was in 1842.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Giggity.
He's
But it meant energy.
Oh, it means energy
And
still.
it meant energy and with the meaning of semen, both. So
Or it could mean a sudden loss of energy. I just see Palpatine in the prequels. That's what he looks like after he comes.
Unlimited power.
When he puts his hands
Unlimited
are you
jizz.
saying
That's
the
what he's
lightning
saying.
coming out of his hands is jizz?
Yes.
Surround us. It
jizzle.
penetrates us.
Oh no. We're still talking about the Force, right?
Yes.
This whole conversation's bad right now.
It's amazing. Probably let Corey wrap us back to like the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, we haven't done much of anything at all.
Okay,
We
well
just crack jokes.
here I'll
That's
actually do something. I don't know if Doug or Corey's like very familiar with like Kurosawa films, but George Lucas, that's like one of his main inspirations. You have like Frank Herbert's novel, which is Dune, of course, and then you have Flash Gordon, which he really loved. But he's also a big fan of like westerns and Kurosawa films. So he got the whole idea of like introducing A New Hope. Like he considers the eyes, the narrator of A New Hope, to be R2D2 and C3PO. So like the idea behind that was there was a movie called The Hidden Fortress from Kurosawa, and the idea of that movie is like,
No, you keep saying Kurosawa, and it keeps making me think of makes me think of Hitman's Bodyguard, because that's like the one dude that gets killed on his watch.
oh fuck,
Wow,
yeah.
that was a ridiculous tripe, but we don't need to get back to Adrian.
You really go out of your way to mention Ryan Reynolds.
Oh,
don't
he
you?
just had to mention him.
No, but so the idea on The Hidden Fortress was like, what if we followed seemingly the least interesting character and like saw the story told through their eyes? So that's kind of what George Lucas did with these droids.
And it kind of makes sense because all 9 movies, they're both in them.
Yeah, and so like for the first 20 minutes of A New Hope, I mean, we see Vader and Leia for like 2 minutes, but the rest of that time is all 3PO and R2.
Is that really 20 minutes?
Yeah, before we like get to Tatooine and Luke and everything.
Wow.
And they comb the desert with the brush and the pick. Oh wait, wrong movie.
God damn it! I was like, wait, what are we talking about?
That's Spaceballs.
Oh, Spaceballs, nice.
I didn't get that. I didn't get the reference. I haven't seen that in a long time.
My mind literally just went through IMDb of Ryan Reynolds, like, which movie is that?
It's like, did Ryan Reynolds comb the
Do
sand?
you memorize Ryan Reynolds' IMDb?
You do.
I mean, you have
I don't.
basically drilled it into our skills.
No.
Yeah, no,
Well, then you're welcome.
yeah, but Doug, it literally is like 20 plus minutes, like to start this movie. Of you get a glimpse of Vader, you hear Leia, but it's R2D2 and 3PO, and like if their chemistry wasn't so fucking great, and if they didn't end up being great characters, both of them, I think it would have massively flopped. But you really fall in love with these characters just like you do anybody else with that nice long introduction with them.
But can I just say that Anthony Daniels can go fuck himself?
Yeah, I hear he's very fucking like
He's a bit of a twat.
twat. Mike, he's a bit of a cunt, if you will.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Here, you got 30 seconds. Describe why that word is bad, and we'll never say it again. Go.
In the American language, it's
What a
extremely
I'm Mike's mom.
offensive.
You know, he already started. I can't. He just started going dictionary on us. On the American
20 seconds
language.
left.
Oh, sorry, good, Mike.
It's just a preference. I hate that word. It just sounds. It's just extremely bad to me. I don't like it.
Wait, why are we doing this? I don't like this. This is stupid. Nobody wants to hear why Mike doesn't like that word.
It's very cringy to me. All right, moving on.
All you're doing, Doug, by giving him time to speak, is getting people on his side.
Time's up. Okay, that was shit. We're going to keep saying it. Anyway.
Sorry, Mom. I tried.
Sorry, mom. Sorry, Mike's mom.
I'm not sorry, Mike's mom.
I hope you keep listening though.
Yeah, feel free to listen to me say things like cunt anytime. Anyway,
So let's talk about. So Doug, I think, am I right? Am I right in your opinion? Do I remember that you said A New Hope? Is that your favorite of the original trilogy?
no, Empire. Like,
Empire.
But
Okay.
I think that's all of it is. Like everyone's gonna say Empire. Outside of that, though, I actually like 6 more than 4.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, so you're the opposite.
They're all they're close. They're really close.
Okay.
I actually agree with that too. I agree with that too.
I think 6 is a very underrated movie.
Yeah, I consider it not the worst, but my least.
I knew you were gonna say
You're
that.
the worst.
Trilogy. Thank you. No, but I mean, I think there's an argument to be made for A New Hope. Like, even as much as I love Empire, I feel like A New Hope just does a great job of telling a complete story in that movie. Like, literally, Star Wars could have began and ended in that one movie, and that could have been it. Like, I'm so glad they continued on.
That's true.
But-
I mean, it had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah,
in that
perfect.
movie.
I would have needed a little more resolution with the characters introduced, but yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah,
But
'cause you-
everybody had a fall and an arc in that one movie.
Yeah.
Luke and Han both have great character progression in that movie.
And they all come out a hero destroying the Death Star. Spoiler alert. I hope everybody's seen it.
Sorry, I know it's a new movie and all.
No, it's A New
Yeah,
Hope.
like while we still have the time, why don't we start going through 4 and just talk about the different parts we like about it.
The biggest thing about A New Hope that is beautifully done is the way they build this world up. Like,
Oh yeah,
it was phenomenal. Like what this movie lacks in script as far as like dialogue goes, it made up for visually beautiful for that time. It made up for building this beautiful world that you easily found yourself getting entranced into. Like, it was, you know how hard it was to do? That had to have been ridiculously hard. It's so easy to do that now. The shit that he pulled off with what he had.
yeah. X-wings and TIE fighters and lightsabers and the Force and Jedi.
To
and
not give that
Sith.
man credit. Fuck the people who say that Star Wars was good in spite of George Lucas.
No, yeah.
No, the man had a beautiful vision. He could build a world and characters
If it weren't for that, it wouldn't have been successful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, his world building, it deserves fucking the utmost credit.
He's basically a very experienced DM that can't give the players their lines.
Basically,
he can create a fucking world for these characters to play in, but he should not dictate what they say.
George Lucas creates this beautiful planet, and then his character is like, I don't like sand. Oh, wait.
Sand.
I haven't really watched a lot of interviews with him. Is he like socially awkward in interviews? Because I feel like that would explain a lot with the dialogue.
No, George Lucas kind of has that
he's
same.
pretty
He kind of has
composed.
that same Vince Gilligan energy. Honestly,
Okay, all right.
He's a
well,
pretty
then,
composed fella.
sorry, George. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt. You just suck.
Some
God
people
damn
just
it.
can't write dialogue.
His problem was he was too stubborn to relinquish control of that stuff.
Yeah.
He had to oversee everything, and there was no reason for that.
Which was why people said it was good in spite of George Lucas, because he tried
got
to
in his own
handle
way.
just like anybody else, he has strengths, he has weaknesses. Dialogue, he is not good at. It's the same thing. Like it's off topic, but fucking same thing with Rob Zombie. I think Rob Zombie can fucking direct the hell out of like a horror movie, but his dialogue is so bad. If he would direct somebody else's movie and they would write the script, he could make a good movie.
Man, like Mike just wants to say good things about people, and Adrian just wants to talk shit on Rob Zombie at any chance.
Hold on.
Wait, do I talk shit on Rob Zombie often?
I talk shit about George Lucas there. He sucks at dialogue.
Rob's like getting a chance to dig at Rob Zombie's dialogue is like one of your bingo cards.
Oh, okay, it is. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
just.
And then I always have to say I really like Rob Zombie movies.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, they're pretty cool.
I fucking hate them all.
I love how uncomfortable he makes you feel every scene.
No,
That's what I give it. They're great for what they are.
I like being reminded of home by hearing all the white trash dialogue. It's beautiful
takes me back home.
every time.
Country road.
Welcome-
I'll come
welcome to
over there
Oil
and
City.
fucking skull fuck you.
I'm back in Oil City.
Doug said I'm back in Oil City.
It's like wrapping myself in a blanket and listening to my parents yell at each other.
You know, it's just nostalgic and reminds me of home.
I can almost feel the cigarette on my
Oh,
neck.
shit.
Oh, geez. What, are you Johnny Depp? Oh, too soon?
Oh, shit on the bed. You shit the
Amber
bed.
Heard. You shit the bed.
Oh.
Amber Heard stole that idea from It's Always Sunny.
Who pooped the bed?
Amber Heard pooped the bed.
Who pooped the
Who
bed?
shit on the coats?
Did you shit on the goats? Wait, what is that?
Dan Cook.
That's Dane Cook.
Someone has shit on or around the coat.
This is this unfortunate thing where I don't follow celebrity news at all, so I have no idea what you guys are referencing.
Oh, wow.
You don't know about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing?
Dude, I still haven't seen the Will Smith Chris Rock slap.
It's
Amber
they're
You
going-
live
Heard's
under
just
a rock?
horrible fucking cunt.
See what I did there?
Oh, yeah, okay. I've heard of like that she sucks. Are they
People
like
are-
going through something again?
Yeah, they're in court right now.
Yeah.
People are trying to get her blacklisted because she like put cigarettes out on Johnny Depp's face and cut his
She's
fingers
super
off.
abusive
Shit
and
on
tried to
his
say he
bed.
was abusive.
Shit on his bed.
She fabricated this whole thing about how he was abusive, and then
She
he
kept
came out with
recording him,
recordings.
trying to get him to do crazy things to her, and he would never do it.
And then she cut off his finger and put a cigarette out on his face.
Exactly.
And shit his bed.
Shit in his bed.
All true
That's the-
and
That's the
proven.
extent of it. And yet somehow people are
That
still
went
thinking
from
Johnny
so
Depp's the
tame
bad guy.
to so brutal
Yes.
so fast.
And there are still so many people out there on her side. It's fucking ridiculous. So before we go back to Star Wars, I want to say, Johnny Depp, I feel really bad for you, man, and fuck Amber Heard forever.
What do you think, aside from bringing like sci-fi to like a mainstream audience, what is it that you think resonated so well with A New Hope, like, or at that time just Star Wars? Why do you think so many people gravitated towards it?
I think it does the classic heroes arc.
You have the hero's
hero
journey.
arc story, and I think that always does well. Like, people just really resonate with that. They love it. They love to see somebody who's supposedly an underdog rise up and like claim their fate.
And they had a
their
lot of
destiny or
those kind of
whatever.
movies back then, but this is the first one that was so fucking beautiful, and where it really shouldn't have worked. Like, space looked real.
Yeah.
There were so many movies back then that you could see the strings and you could see the creases in the aliens' necks, and this one was so goddamn crisp for the low budget that he really had.
Yeah, I think right.
The effects, like, really,
That's one of like
Phenomenal.
as much as people hate to say it, good effects really help tell a story.
It's true. That's where I'll give any shit talking on the sequels and the prequels. I'll give it credit because the puppeteering of the first three movies was what made the magic in Star Wars.
Frank Oz.
So all the CG kind of took away from it.
I can see the argument in like the sequels and like the prequels about the CG because that was a weird time, but I don't think that argument holds up for the sequels.
The remasters that they put out with all the extra characters and shit, just useless.
Yoda was still puppeteered in the first sequel movie or prequel movie.
It wasn't the first one; it was the second one.
It's the first one.
Definitely preferred him
Luke's
being
not
CG.
in the first
I'm
one.
not gonna lie.
No, wait.
What'd you say?
Luke's not in the first one.
Yoda is 100% in the first prequel movie, you dumbass.
I didn't say prequel; I said sequel.
Yeah, I said prequel. Pay attention.
He's not puppeteered in the prequels. Yoda is not puppeteered in the prequels.
In the first one, it is.
In the Phantom Menace?
The very first one. And in A Phantom Menace, he's still puppeteered.
Actually, I think that's true.
I don't know. I really don't think that's true.
I didn't know that actually. I know he looked terrible in the later ones, but
It wasn't until because they had to CGI him for that lightsaber scene that they decided to CGI him.
with Count Dooku.
He's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I think if they've remastered it since then, they probably have changed that. But
No. It's just in 2011 when the next movie came out, he was CG suddenly.
yeah, and I think it's because of the lightsaber duel that he was going to do with Dooku. It was the only thing that made sense.
Yeah, you couldn't have done that with a puppet.
You couldn't have puppeteered him the entire movie and then suddenly made him CGI for the lightsaber duel.
You see Frank Oz behind him running around. Frank Oz doing flips and shit.
Where do you think Yoda got it?
Right? Oh God. Yeah, but I love, like, speaking of like the practical effects of Star Wars, I mean, I think movies didn't look as good as Star Wars for like another 15, 20 years. They were so ahead of their time with that shit.
Yeah,
And,
they
like,
were.
And the very first shot of A New Hope is like you see the first ship coming in. It's like the Rebellion ship. And then you see like just the fucking towering Star Destroyer over the whole camera. And you just see how small that ship is in scope to a fucking Star Destroyer. And that's like literally the first shot of the movie after the title crawl. And that's just, I thought that brought it in beautifully, like right from the get-go.
And the very distinct sounds each vehicle or spaceship makes.
Sound effects.
It's amazing.
The links that he went to get those sounds, like, you know, that there's all like different types of like airplanes and shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all
and then,
kinds
like,
of mixed
I don't know
sounds.
how he made them
but
sound
There
distorted.
shouldn't have been sound in any of those space scenes, but here we are.
Right.
Okay. Well, I asked this before. Star Trek or Star Wars, you know, the biggest difference I think between the two is if you want something that's practical and makes sense scientifically, you watch Star Trek. Star Wars is more fun and exciting.
It definitely goes outside the box a lot more than Star Trek does.
Like the things in Star Trek could almost
what would
be
really
real
happen if you found these planets and did
Yeah.
these things.
Honestly, like as far as Star Trek's concerned, I only like the newest remakes. I can't
Like the
stand the
movies?
original series and stuff at all. Yeah.
I know Corey likes those too.
Zachary Quinto's the shit.
Oh
man.
yeah.
And Chris
Like,
Pine
he
as Kirk
killed-
is amazing.
Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan was
Cumberbatch
incredible.
killed
Like
Khan.
yeah, it was great.
And we won't talk about Anton Yelchin again. Rest in peace. Don't worry, Doug. We didn't make any inappropriate jokes, did we?
I know who that was. He was only 27.
We actually
Yeah.
did make an inappropriate joke.
Oh, did
he
we?
was in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
he was in
And
the
we'll
Fright Night
make
remake.
He's dead.
He's dead.
He's in the ground now.
You don't know that.
He was in that Dead movie where he died.
He's in the remake of Buried. Isn't that a Ryan Reynolds movie?
I heard they were remaking the TV show 6 Feet Under, and he was going to be the main star.
Well, Doug, you get out of this one. So.
Adrian, these are way worse than the ones we made last week.
Yeah.
It just brings out the dark side in us.
The dark side.
Yes, let the hate flow through.
Yeah, but no, like Star Wars, A New Hope, just so ahead of its time. Like, and now,
Like, I love A New Hope. It's actually
Oh yeah, it's probably my
like
second.
there were
favorite Star
periods
Wars
of time
movie.
where I did think I liked it more than 5, just because like the hero's journey aspect. But I'm a sucker for the villain. So
The hero's
Me
journey wouldn't even
too.
continued though if they would have just all died in that trash compactor.
Yeah, and I also love how we talked about this before, but how they're kind of thrown right into this world. They don't give us like a big exposition dump. It's not like, oh, who is the dark side? Who is the Empire? Who is the fucking rebellion? We're just thrown right in the middle of it. They don't hold our hand. They're just like, you're in this world now. Fucking, you know.
Well, that was the genius part of it is if Lucas had started with the first 3 books, like his episode 1 through 3,
Yeah.
back in the 70s and 80s, that shit would not have worked. All the political aspects behind it and like the way that the emperor had to come to power, none of that would have been interesting enough in the 70s and 80s. They had to do the fantastic part of the world already established.
which is crazy that was one of the reasons I hold like the newer ones in such high regard is because of like the action sequences and stuff are a lot weaker in the original, but that's just due to technology at the time. Like I know that originally like the lightsaber duels were supposed to be like akin to classic fencing technique and whatnot, and like I appreciate that for what it was, but like Obi-Wan versus Vader when he struck Obi-Wan down and stuff, that was some.
It was pretty slow.
Yeah,
Not nearly as good as the Obi-Wan versus Vader in Revenge of the Sith.
that's kind of my thing.
Just go watch Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight at the end of A New Hope, and then watch Darth Vader come into Leia's ship in Rogue One. Why did he slow down so much in 10
Oh
minutes?
yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, but that's what Vader was always supposed to be, was that machine killing death monster.
Yeah.
Vader never wanted to kill Obi-Wan, okay? He still wanted to be his friend.
Dude, he cut right through him.
Well, that's only because Obi-Wan lowered his guard and he knew that that's what he wanted.
Mike just keeps giving people excuses why they suck so bad.
No.
Yeah, nah.
Vader's
like,
actually a good person.
Oh, God. Here
here's
he
another way
goes.
that we can drive the point home. When Luke gets mad and just starts slamming his sword at the end of 6.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all that classic fencing technique.
Yeah. That classic fencing. Die.
Well, that's because Luke's actually the bad guy.
Luke's a dick.
Yeah, Vader was such a good guy when he killed all those Padawans when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he blew up
Such a good
Alderaan,
guy.
There's too many of them. What are we gonna
his
do?
daughter's homeworld, he just fucking blew
And then
it up.
Anakin's all like,
I told you I'd kill your first boyfriend. I'm really just a good dad, Leia.
"Fuck, it wasn't."
Listen, the Jedi at that time had become too powerful, so he had to cut the lineage. He was doing the universe a favor.
Hitler also thought he was doing the universe. That doesn't make
Damn,
him a
I
good
almost
person,
made a
yeah.
joke, but even that's too dark for me. Anyway.
I could see something brewing in Doug's head.
So I was going to say, are we really supposed to believe that George Lucas had actually had all of this thought out and had actually wrote all of this shit before he released the movies? Because if
No,
that were the case,
he didn't.
exactly. There's no way that the first three, I started with these ones because blah, blah, blah. No, you made that other shit up after you already came out with them. Don't
Didn't he
bullshit
write
us.
most of 3 in a 13-hour plane flight of
Wait.
Revenge of the Sith?
You mean 3 is in Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah. Didn't he write
That
most of
would
that
be
movie
episode
on
3.
a plane flight, a 13-hour plane flight?
Oh, I'm not sure. That could be a fact.
That could be a fact. I just know that he claims. I just know that he claims that he wrote these already beforehand and started with A New Hope because of blah 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 blah. But I don't think the first 3 existed. I just don't. I
No,
don't
he
think it
didn't
his
was-
start.
mind.
He didn't start
No, they're
writing
just
the.
prequels.
No, he didn't start writing the prequels until like 10 years before they came out. It was way after
Exactly.
the first 3 were out.
But he claims that he had already had that idea to start from there.
Most writers have some small
No.
storyboard ideas
I
like
don't
that,
believe him.
but to claim that he had it all planned out is just utter bullshit. Like, he
I
might have
think-
had ideas of what he wanted to do. I believe that, but
I think he wasn't making money anymore, and he was like, you know what? I need more money.
He
This
just
is,
said,
a,
let's,
this is a cash cow.
let's sell some
But-
more toys.
and yet he makes almost nothing from it.
Now, since he sold the rights to Disney
For like full
idiot.
$4 billion.
No, like
What a fucking genius.
when it came to the toys and stuff, he made very little money.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
toys
right.
to begin with.
No, he was pretty smart for selling that to Disney. And does he get any of the money from that? Because his
No.
name's still technically on it. Because they bought what all did they buy? They bought
Yeah, they still
Yeah.
show Lucas
because
Studios
because
before
they bought the
movies.
Lucas Studios.
Yeah, but I'm sure he gets some kind of residual for his name being on
he
the
has to
movies,
get something for that.
but not nearly
Why?
as much as he could.
Didn't
Oh,
they?
it
didn't
depends
he,
on what they
get
agreed
$400
upon.
million for the franchise. or
He
something?
didn't-
$4 billion or
Well,
something
here's
like
the
that.
thing.
billion,
Here's
yeah.
the thing. He didn't sell Lucas Studios. He just sold rights to certain things. So his name being on it has to afford him some kind of royalty. It might
Yeah,
not be
maybe.
a huge one, but considering
That's
Disney's
something to look
so
up some other
big,
time.
he probably makes quite a bit of money.
Yeah, I know he's not
George-
happy.
George Lucas,
You know,
does
for
not
people
need
who
money.
bitch about the trade talks and the sequels,
Yeah.
you guys are in the prequels are getting really into this.
I don't.
Mike wanted to ask a question.
I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say, and I don't hate the trade talks in this prequels.
Yeah.
Doug, you and I are like the only ones that like love the prequels. I don't know how Corey feels about him, but I know Adrian hates him.
Love's
You'll
a
find-
strong
you'll find out.
word. I like them.
I love him.
I feel the prequels and sequels, I love one movie in both of them.
Your opinion's trash, bro.
You're trash, Brooke. Sam Raimi.
Oh my!
I got it then. No, but yeah, so I think another thing that A New Hope really did for
Remember when Anakin was like chill, and then Tobey Maguire came out and was like, I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. And he's like, oh, the sand.
not the sand.
I could say
I'm gonna put some sand in your eye.
Adrian, if this helps you, Jon Favreau does The Mandalorian.
Hey, Jon Favreau.
So
Can we talk about Iron Man for a second? The original.
So what was everybody's favorite part of A New Hope?
Oh, there's so many.
Pick one.
That's how that works.
My favorite funny moment.
No.
No.
One moment.
No, I can't do it.
Wait, you got to pick
you
one.
absolutely refuse.
I
Yeah,
refuse. So I'm
one.
going to be Adrian here. I'm
I
going to cheat.
refuse.
I'm gonna move on to the next person after you give whatever this funny moment is, and we're gonna assume that's your one moment. Okay,
That's not fair.
we got time to consider here.
You know what never made sense to me about A New Hope? On the original movies, why people say Han shot first. Like in the original movie, fucking what was it, Greedo?
Greedo.
He didn't even shoot.
He clearly shoots
Yeah, he
first.
does. There's a spark behind Han
Yeah.
Solo's head on the wall.
Yeah.
when
There's
he
like a big
shoots.
cloud of smoke. It's like a fucking western.
No,
It
if
looked
you
like-
look at the wall
No.
behind Han Solo, there's like a black mark that forms after.
is
he
there like a
shoots.
mark?
Yeah, he shoots
Yeah,
the wall
and
behind his head.
I don't even know how it's an argument. How people even try to argue that he didn't shoot first.
because it
it's clear
literally
he did.
doesn't in the sequel after they remastered
Before
When
they
they did this-
remastered it, it was so bright when it happened, you can't see who shot first.
Yeah, literally, George Lucas said he set it up like a Western film. So I don't know why the special editions, they fucking did it the way they did.
Yeah, they felt the need to show us the Han shot first. It didn't fucking matter. He won the duel.
And then including Jabba the Hutt, he looks so bad in that.
When they added him in, yeah.
Yeah, he's
and
still.
especially when Han Solo steps up over his tail.
Oh God, yeah.
The reason that looks so bad is because you're adding in
Abu
this
Babi
crisp
Solo.
for the time anyway. You're adding in this crisp CGI with shitty. Like,
no.
What?
That stock footage is higher quality than every other Star Wars. My friend has literally it's second print levels of rips of the original Star Wars trilogy, and it is some of the highest quality film footage I've ever seen in my life.
I just feel like the CGI doesn't fit with it. It doesn't look natural at all.
Oh, it doesn't. That's more because the classic film grain, like film has a just special. It's like film like captures an image just so much differently than digital, and it's hard to replicate.
That's why I said that's why it looks so choppy, is because it just doesn't.
I think it just looks choppy because it was shitty, like early 2000 CGI when nobody knew how to use it yet, but they tried to put it in everything.
That's why at the time Gollum was one of the most amazing CGI characters of all time.
Yeah.
But now if you go back and watch that first Lord of the Rings, you can really see the bad parts of the CGI.
Honestly, CGI never really took off until the Transformers movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, those are, as much as I don't like those movies, they're fantastic.
They're beautiful.
What?
They're mediocre.
those movies talk.
I only don't like the third one.
Sneak it in your house, Shia LaBeouf.
I only like the fourth one.
Really?
With Mark
I've never
Wahlberg.
seen past the second.
I've only seen the first.
I love the 19th one when Paul Walker takes a space car up to fight Optimus Prime
with Carrie Fisher.
That's impressive that he came back from the dead.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
God
Paul
damn
Walker.
it. Are we talking? I have a feeling we're not talking about Transformers. No, but the one change I do agree with those special editions is putting Ian McDermott in the hologram when Vader's talking to him in Empire.
Yeah, that was.
If you remember that old model for Sidious, that thing is fucking hideous. Like, and I don't mean hideous.
Hideous.
I don't mean hideous in like an unsettling way. I would have liked that. It just looks so fucking stupid.
It was so bad.
It was bad. That's the one area I'm like, Ian McDermott, I like that. And then Corey, I know you have a big issue with the end of Return of the Jedi.
He doesn't like that they added Hayden Christensen instead of the guy that was supposed to be Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it makes sense.
I don't like it.
It does make sense.
Why would like this like mostly machine organism be a spirit?
Why would he be allowed to have his Force Ghost be the most
this is what
evil
bothers.
he possibly was?
That
doesn't make sense to me.
evil.
The fuck he isn't. He killed a bunch of little kids at that exact.
He slaughtered like 20 kids.
The exact age is when he slaughtered 20 fucking
That's the
kids.
thing of redemption, Corey, is that you have to forgive those things.
Michael Myers doesn't even kill kids like that.
Well, Michael Myers isn't evil either. Okay.
He's a good guy.
Oh my god, Mike! What kind of enlightened pill did you take before this?
So what we have to really boil down is what is evil.
Let's really break it down, guys.
You don't get it.
You don't get it. No,
It's called morality 1 inch to the left, okay?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, so the last thing I'll say about A New Hope, and then we can do our favorite scene and probably move on. But I think another thing that Star Wars started is obviously the time we're living in now, 2022. Hollywood's obsessed with like these fucking larger than life, like expanded universe kind of things. You know, like everybody's fucking doing them. I think Star Wars was one of the pioneers of that. And
No, I was raising my hand. I'm obsessed.
oh, okay. I thought you had some. I said, "Are we doing the raise the hand
No,
thing?"
sorry,
I thought we weren't going to do that.
I was agreeing with obsessed with the multiverse thing.
Yeah, and like Star Wars was really like one of the true like fucking first blockbusters, you know, and they made you realize like Although there is great storyline in Star Wars, like they made you realize what special effects can really do for a movie. Unlike Avatar, that's all it is special effects and shit and CGI. Like Star Wars actually had a compelling story.
I mean, they tested Avatar really well by copying a Kevin Costner movie that's 4.5 hours long with no special effects, and then making it nothing but special effects. And it was somehow not as good.
I don't get the hype over Avatar. I really don't.
It's a shit fucking movie. Can we move on?
Oh, that's right. Corey gets pissed every time we talk
The
about
story is
Avatar.
good if you haven't seen Dances with Wolves, Mike. That's all.
Then I won't like it.
I mean, with that being said, fucking, that's so unfair. My favorite moment from A New Hope.
Right? There's so many.
Just pick one. Holy fuck.
My favorite moment is when R2, the real hero of this entire story, saves all the other characters from dying in the trash compactor, which would have completely ruined the entire saga.
It's almost like they wrote that scene just so he could be a hero. Oh,
or when he puts out the fire in the Millennium Falcon, or when he repairs Luke's ship when he's trying to take out the
when
Death
he
Star,
delivers.
or he delivers the Death Star plans.
Writing that scene just so R2D2 can be a hero doesn't
R2-D2.
make it any less
Yeah.
that it happened.
It doesn't.
You're true.
It
You're right.
happens in the movie, so he's still a hero.
And without R2, they wouldn't know how to destroy the Death Star. So
Plus,
there's
right.
also
Plus,
that.
guys, hold on.
Are
Plus,
you okay?
no,
All right.
no,
No.
wait,
One second.
listen.
I have to fucking.
Can I
dig this
point
one
out the
apart.
obvious? Can I point out
All
the
right.
obvious?
Can I finish?
Can I finish? Everything in this
I can't
movie was
finish.
written because it had a script and it was a fucking movie.
You're right. But okay,
You
Mike.
just blew my damn mind.
So you're saying they would have never been able to deal with the Death Star because he got the plans and then was sent across the fucking galaxy to deliver it, right?
Just
Correct.
Like
All
you
right,
guys are
so
indulging my
you know this beautiful thing in Star Wars, these people with the force sensitive things that can somehow sense things and think
Yeah.
problems far off in distance because
Uh-huh.
of the life force of literally a fucking entire planet of people dying wasn't enough to trigger Obi-Wan, who's supposed to be one of the greatest Jedi of all time, to like feel the disturbance in the force and know something was wrong. But no, he had to wait for a fucking droid with a shitty hologram message to be delivered to a fucking dumpster of a planet.
Do
for
you
him
know
to
why
know that
he-
he needed to go act?
But I think she chose the droid to deliver because the droid's not life. So therefore, can't be sensed by the Force.
Obi-Wan should have already known.
Well, that's because Obi-Wan was old and stupid.
Is it possible that Obi-Wan was, because if you go by that logic, you have the Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, like he shut himself off to the Force so he couldn't sense some things.
Yeah.
Do you think Obi-Wan was kind of shut off to the Force because he hadn't been?
I don't think they came out and said it like that. I think he was still like a firm believer, like, and he was there to protect Luke and like.
Honestly,
teach him
think it's
someday.
just from old age. He wasn't sensing the Force the same way he used to be able to. Because he would have younger Obi-Wan would have kicked Vader's ass, but that Obi-Wan could not beat Vader.
Or Ben Kenobi did sense it, but
And
what
just
the
didn't
fuck is he
care.
gonna do? So
Yeah.
he just didn't do anything.
That's also true. That's a very valid
But then
point.
when the droid came to him and he saw that it was Princess Leia, he was like, "Well, fuck."
Yeah. Well, and Luke had to be part of it, right? So Ben Kenobi had to wait for Luke to be involved.
He already
in it, like-
knew Obi-Wan though. He just didn't realize the stuff about the Jedi. He could have just told him that stuff.
Like
Do you
Yoda
mean
at
old
the
Ben
end.
Kenobi?
Yeah, exactly.
at the end of Revenge of the Sith, it's kind of like Yoda and that they had a deal that Obi-Wan was going to go to Tatooine and watch over Luke. So maybe he did sense that, but
we've already established that we don't think those were planned ahead of time, so we shouldn't really use that as an argument to this.
Damn it. He got me with that one.
The thing about R2 in Just a New Hope, he had the plans put in him by Leia, so he had the plans for Death Star. BB-8 ripoff, you motherfucker. I like The Force Awakens, though. But R2 got the plans. R2 sent them in their escape pod to Tatooine. R2 went out to the desert so Luke would go looking for him. That started the whole Obi-Wan thing. R2 put out the fire in the Millennium Falcon. He fucking saved them from the trash compactor. He's fucking repaired Luke's X-Wing multiple times in that final Death Star sequence. He's the fucking hero of the movie.
I do think they're useful in the space fights and shit. How those are attached to like the ships.
Yeah,
and
I love that
stuff. I think that's a cool aspect.
Yeah, that is
I don't
a really
know.
cool
I feel like him being like this hero droid that saves them from all these problems just doesn't make sense to me. It never really has.
So you can acknowledge he's saved their ass multiple times, but it's just you don't like it.
Like I'm just not like, oh man, that little robot's the coolest, man. I was like, that could have just been any of the characters.
Right.
If you've seen Zack and Miri, you know that he has big cojones.
That's true. That's true. He does.
Yeah. No. So, in conclusion, my favorite moment of A New Hope is at the end, the Death Star run, when Obi-Wan speaks to Luke and tells him to just trust his instincts and put away the whatever they call it, the target find. I love that moment, and then Han coming back to save the day. The end.
Yahoo!
I like when that sociopath Luke Skywalker talks about killing womp rats for fun.
That's right. He said, but it's not impossible.
Is it A New Hope when Han or warns C-3PO that he's going to rip his arm off if he beats him at chess or something?
Yeah, he says, perhaps we should go with a new tactic. Let the Wookiee win.
Yeah, he says if you ever beaten a Wookiee in a game, they don't lose very well or something like that.
Yeah. He said, yeah, but droids also don't rip your arms out of your sockets when they lose a game.
Yeah.
What's your favorite moment, Corey?
Probably the whole... I'm going to go with the entire rescue of Princess Leia, that whole sequence of events.
Yeah, you're a little short for a stormtrooper.
Is it, huh? Oh, the outfit.
There's so many clever lines in that part. It's where you get the Luke and Leia kiss, which, at the time probably had to have been oh, that's awesome, man. She just
at
met
the
him
time.
and she's kissing him. What
Yeah,
fuck
the
is this
unsung
all
hero,
about?
the guy
He
that you don't
saved
think
the
is going to get the
princess.
girl,
Yeah.
gets the kiss.
So it was the old classic story of I saved the princess out of the castle and she kissed me. So at the time it was sweet.
That
Later you realize
that
how
classic
fucked up it
Shrek
is.
story.
But specifically in that whole sequence, I think when Han Solo, they ask him, what's going on there? Is there something going on? And he goes, no, everything's good here. How are you? And then he looks around oh, did I just fucking say that?
Oh, his fucking look. Yeah, we're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
That's one of my favorite comedic moments in that movie.
And then he just fucking had boring conversation. Fucking shoots it with a blaster. Luke, we have company.
He's like, fuck this. This is stupid.
I just love how he knows he fucked up. How are you?
How are you? Wait, stormtroopers would say that.
If he had a phone in his hand, he would have put his forehead on it.
Oh, and also an honorable mention, the twin sons, Luke staring up at them.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
We waited way too long last time to talk about John Williams, so his fucking soundtrack is just as big a character as any character in the movie. I love that moment. Gives me goosebumps every time.
I love the little one-off joke in the Family Guy Star Wars special when John Williams is dead when he comes back, his aunt and uncle, and they're like, no, we have to do the rest of this Danny Elfman.
I don't like that.
All right, Mike, favorite moment.
I already said the trash compactor moment.
Oh, the trash compactor, yeah, classic. That's been parodied.
It's a great moment.
That's been parodied so many times because
Doug, do you have one?
From A New Hope.
Wow.
Actually, I probably gotta agree with Adrian on the whole, just the scene where he trusts his power and shoots it.
It is a great moment.
My favorite aspects of these movies are and always will be the Jedi and Sith stuff. That's why a lot of these other characters,
The yin and the yang.
That's why you don't want to watch
saved
Soul.
them. But if they just let the Jedi be a powerful Jedi like he's supposed to be, he could have got them out of that mess no problem.
Right.
That's my biggest complaint with all these other savior moments. He should have been able to deal with this.
And the movies show off so many Jedi Force abilities that never get used again.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the prequels when fucking Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon do that speed run.
Yeah.
And then Luke jumps 30 feet in the fucking air. And they never use them again.
Force jump, force run.
That's because it's a one-time use and one-time lifetime use.
And don't worry, we'll fucking get into force healing.
I actually did look that up, and that speed, it is known that Obi-Wan and I think Anakin in the like comics and books have been known to use speed during battle to boost their ability.
So they actually utilize it
they actually have that speed. They use it in battles against people to make them stronger.
That's why it's also like in all the video games and stuff is those powers.
Yeah.
And
Right.
also force healing exists, but hey,
fucking
But
force
nobody
healing.
uses it.
it's existed long before that
Fucking
movie.
Rise of
Because
Skywalker.
plot device,
It's been around for like longer than we have.
You've been around for longer than you have. Mike, I'll let you stay. Mike, I'll
These
let you stick
movies
with
have
that
been
joke.
around longer than any of us have.
That's true.
Yes, even me, assholes.
I was going to say not much longer than Corey.
Adrian, you got to say it with a little bit more confidence than that.
All right,
doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense.
We gotta move on. We gotta move on. We gotta move on.
All right, so we
Yes.
talked about A New Hope enough and other weird ass shit. Let's move on to Empire.com where you can get your carpets laid in your house.
Yes, I need new carpet.
Boardwalk Empire. That
Oh,
The
that's actually
movie?
a really good. Yeah, it's really good.
or is that a show?
That's
It's
a
a
show with
show.
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, yeah, or Stove Buscemi. But anyway,
yes, The Empire Strikes Back. That wasn't directed by George Lucas.
So
The strongest
I
movie,
think with-
one of the strongest movies in the entire franchise. Not
Irvin
directed by the
Kershner.
director.
I think Empire Strikes Back. I mean, if we're going to start talking about it, we should start from the beginning. Hoth.
Hoth.
well, Mike, are you going to say more?
I was kind of trying to just lead you guys there because I was helping out. 'cause
So you
everybody's
didn't
talking.
actually have anything to say. You were just
No,
hoping
it's,
we
it's
did.
one of my favorite moments.
I
like
think we
the
should start off with Hoth.
Battle of Hoth is amazing.
And that's
like
all I
the-
have to say about Hoth.
The AT-AT walkers when Luke fucking uses the harpoon
AT-ATs.
gun. That is my favorite movie of that movie. Or that might wow. That's my favorite moment of that movie.
You might be the only person I've ever heard call them AT-ATs.
Don't you even fucking say at-ats.
Everybody calls them AT-ATs.
They're
I've
AT-ATs.
never heard at ever before.
If you call it an ad, don't listen to this podcast.
And you aren't listening. You don't talk to anybody, Doug. I can't trust you.
I don't talk to anybody.
There's the AT-ATs, which are the big ones, and the AT-STs, which are the small ones on Endor.
Oh my god, if you guys have ever seen Red Letter Media, they do fucking reviews. The guy did AT-AT.
Don't you come
What
at
kind
me,
of
man.
fucking normie ass plebeian bitch says at-ats? Fuck
At-ats.
those people.
Like everybody I've ever heard say it.
You have a lot of like really fucking plebeian friends.
I'm not talking about my friends. I'm talking about every video I've ever watched
Oh,
What are
they
you
suck.
on these movies.
Yeah.
Stop watching shit reviews by shit reviewers.
We are shit reviewers.
Yeah, I didn't say
Yeah,
don't
go
watch others. I told you to stop watching these, not our listeners.
No,
No. Yeah, Hoth is fantastic, and it just goes to progress Han's character more, that he's willing to sacrifice his own life to go out there and try and find Luke. And that's the
well,
second time.
they're kind of friends now, you know.
That's
Well,
the
at this
second
point,
time Han saves his life.
At this point, I actually think Han kind of sees him as a little brother almost.
Mm-hmm. If only Leia saw him as a brother.
Because Han was going to leave. Yeah, Han was going to leave, and then they were like, Luke hasn't come back yet, and he's like, oh shit. He's like, well, I guess I'll go save his ass again.
Again. Yeah, that was kind of both sides of the Han thing, because he was going to leave again,
Yeah.
like a fucking
He's like-
scoundrel.
He's like, I ain't fighting your fucking rebellion.
Right. Yeah, that was never what he was in it for. He was in it for the fucking
Sure.
reward at first.
Sir, Commander Skywalker hasn't returned yet.
He was also in it to get that Leia pussy.
That's right. But-
I don't think that really came to his mind until they were stuck on his ship and
Mike,
inside the worm.
He's a space pirate. It came to
scoundrel.
his mind immediately.
Well, okay, that's fair.
He hangs out with a Wookiee all day. Trust me. As soon as
He
he saw
hangs out with the
Leia,
Wookiee all day.
People are gonna start thinking things about you when you keep trying to defend shit characters.
Oh, well, that would be the case, except Han Solo isn't a shit character.
That's true.
I didn't mean in like design. I meant like in personality.
Wait, what shit character have I defended? Darth Vader is a hero.
oh my God.
You guys see my lightsaber?
He brought balance. He brought balance to the Force twice.
It's like the sixth
Yeah.
time I pulled it out.
If that's not a hero, I don't know what is.
Your
Yeah.
fucking lightsaber from AdamandEve.com is a little weird.
Hey, why does it have a dick at the end of it?
Adrian, I think you watched the wrong Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Did you watch Star Wars?
And there has to be something like that on Pornhub.
Dude, are you telling me you've never heard of the Star Wars XXX parody?
I mean, I know I've never heard of like the one specifically, but I know they have to be out there. Is it called Star Wars?
Dude, no, it's Star Wars the XXX. Like they have
Oh,
like a
that's what
million of those. There's Pirates of the Caribbean and they put like more budget into these than the actual movies got. Like, it's absurd.
Revenge of the Shit, the all anal final chapter.
Revenge of the Shit.
See, now that's fake.
How dare you?
Or is it? I'm sure it exists somewhere.
No, he knows that's just a reference.
It's just in the movie Zack and Mary Make a Porno.
Yeah, but Empire Strikes Back. There's fucking. I mean, it's pretty universally hailed. And not every single person has the opinion, but it's pretty universally hailed as the best Star Wars movie. I mean, for
It's my number one.
so many fucking reasons. I think first of all, it's a bold choice to like split up our main cast and give them two different storylines.
It
And
worked really well.
In my mind, yeah, they're both equally compelling. Unlike when Finn and Rose go to fucking Cantabite in The Last Jedi.
No, we're not talking about that right now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Can we not talk about that shit movie?
But no,
fuck off. We're not talking
The
about that right now.
sequels are so much better than the originals.
oh my god, people! Yeah, Doug is saying that sincerely. By the way,
Hands down. It's not even a comparison.
oh. No, but
Be
big.
prepared to be shocked by my opinion when we get to those episodes.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys are fucking making me sick. But yeah, to split up our cast, I thought was a huge choice after they were so good together in the first movie. Luke's story is so compelling on Dagobah. Of course, the fucking introduction of Yoda is great.
Oh yeah, God, that's one of the best parts of any of the movies.
And that was also another huge fucking risk because, like, it's just you're fucking bringing a little puppet thing into this fucking world. And at first, he's so goofy, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? You think he's just like a little one-off character.
And do you think they really intended him to be quite the amazing character that he became in like the history of Star Wars?
Like such a cultural phenomenon.
I don't know that one little training from Yoda, they expected him to be like
Oh yeah,
the fucking Jedi King of all
I
time.
actually think he was like, because with his age, it was supposed to be expected that he had done lots of things.
No, I'm not saying like he wasn't expected to be like the eldest of all Jedi. I mean like the badass that he is, and
as
was
loved
popular.
as he is.
Yeah, like
And
he
now there's a
became,
baby
like-
Yoda.
and now when Baby Yoda came out, man, it just sparked a whole new
Grogu.
generation. Grogu, but it sparked a whole new generation of Yoda fans. Just
Oh,
because
yeah.
of Grogu.
I'm sure Corey and Doug, just a real quick side. I'm sure you guys have seen the Office meme, like Drew, but it's Grogu. Yeah, I'm not calling you that. He's like, hey baby Yoda.
I like how you said Corey and Doug, and then immediately talked about an Office.
Oh,
meme.
did I say- I meant
would never
Corey and-
see it.
Corey and Mike.
I was like, oh, what have I seen? And you're like, that Office meme. I'm like, what
I
the
don't
fuck
listen
is
to-
he talking?
The only
you
episodes I
drunk?
listen to are the ones I edit. That's because I have to.
I've listened
No,
to
Doug-
every episode.
Me too.
Doug has a shitty opinion on The Office, just like with the Star Wars sequels. But
That's true. Hey, no, that's not true.
damn it, I wish I was editing this one. I would keep that in. A Freudian slip.
No, Adrian would take out the second part where I said wait.
That's true.
Yes.
In silence.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the cave scene in Dagobah.
Oh Jesus, that's awesome.
Mike, I think we talked about this in the one that we didn't come out with, but you and I kind of had a different interpretation about that cave scene, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
how do you see it?
Because I think that when he chops Vader's head off in that cave scene, he sees his face in
That
the
part's
helmet.
awesome.
I think it's kind of like a shit. How did I word that? I think it's kind of like foreshadowing of the fact that that's his dad. Like I think that's like he sees himself in Vader because that's his father.
Well, somewhere inside he did sense that.
I think that's where that comes from. I don't think he realized that it was like a blood relation, but he was worried.
Well, obviously not, because when Darth comes out and says he's his father at the end, he
He's like,
really didn't know.
"No!"
He really didn't know.
The worst that part's bad.
But when
Yeah.
Darth says, "Search your feelings, you know it to be true,"
Yeah,
you can tell that Luke had feared that.
in the worst all time knows, you have Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith versus Luke in Empire. No, that's impossible.
Luke's is way.
No.
I mean,
But-
it's super out of character for
Yeah, but
to be fucking going. "No."
well, no, because it was the last thing that Anakin loved.
That might, you know what, that might be the moment that Anakin
But
Skywalker
The
died.
reason I think that no was better than Luke's is because when he's saying it, things around him are
You
like
mean-
crushing and getting
You
destroyed.
mean
Yeah.
not
Force
better, but
pushing.
less shitty.
less shitty?
I don't really think that one was bad.
No,
but
me neither.
it made sense.
It makes me cringe.
It was definitely universally hated,
Oh, okay.
but I don't care. You know, it doesn't bother me.
It was such a badass moment, like Corey said, with everything like crushing and that smile on Sidious's face in the theater. I'm like, oh
That's-
yeah, and
that's
then,
what I'm saying.
"No." I'm like, oh my god,
That's-
come on.
that's easily the moment when he became full Vader and Anakin pretty much didn't exist anymore.
But he was a good guy.
The cave scene, I guess I never really thought the whole Vader helmet on him through, like, because I just always saw that as him killing that side of him that he was afraid he'd become, and Vader was just the
I was afraid
vision.
it was him being afraid he was gonna turn to the dark side.
Yeah, he was like, I could become this, and I didn't see it as like a swipe at. He knew he was like his son. He just saw like he's being trained as a Jedi, and he saw this guy he was told was once a great like Jedi who felt evil, and he knew that he could be that. It was the only face of evil he had ever known.
I'm not saying that he knew that he was.
Oh
Like,
no,
related
I
to
wasn't
him.
like I wasn't like arguing with you. I was just saying like from my perspective,
it's just the way I interpreted it is like I feel like he knew that there was a connection between the two of them. He just didn't know what.
And my thought was like, I feel like in the same vein as Doug and Corey are saying, but to take it a step further, I feel like when he struck down Vader in the cave, it was more like he was doing it as an act of hate and revenge because Vader, I guess, quote unquote, killed Obi-Wan, and Luke was still upset about that. So he struck him down in anger. And, you know, that is a sign to go to the dark side if you fight with emotion. And that's why I think Luke saw himself in the Vader helmet as like, oh, fuck, if I keep doing it like this, I'm going to turn into this man.
That's how I always saw it too.
Let's get George Lucas on the podcast. Let's ask him.
let's fucking ask him, okay?
Yeah, because we're the first ones to ever ask George Lucas to be on the podcast.
And then, yeah, I just love Luke's decision that he has to make on Dagobah when, like, Yoda and Obi-Wan are pleading for him to stay and finish his training. And fucking Luke leaves them anyway, walks right into Vader's trap. But, you know, he cares about his friends. He's still... I just feel like the movie did so well. Like, at the end of A New Hope, I feel like Luke kind of felt like he was hot shit, you know? Like, I'm the one that destroyed the Death Star. Like, I'm going to easily become a Jedi. Like, things are going to go great for me. And he fucking He fails a lot in The Empire Strikes Back.
His whiny ass personality made him think he was the shit.
Yeah.
Like he thought he should automatically, just because he was force sensitive, he should just know what to do.
Right. As Luke would say in the sequels, this isn't going to go the way you think it is. And that's kind of like,
yeah,
you can take that back to Empire Strikes Back.
A good example of that is when he just straight up tells Yoda, oh, it's impossible. I can't lift this plane up out of
Right.
And then Yoda just, I'll do it then.
Yoda's like, bitch, let me pull up your X-Wing real quick.
Won't believe your eyes. What's the X-Wing rap?
And yeah, that's right. And then Luke literally says, like, one of my favorite lines in the movie is like, Luke just says, I can't believe you did that. And Yoda says, that is why you fail. Yeah, but yeah, Yoda's
it's not what's on the inside.
Oh my God.
Classic Yoda quote. Not on the inside, is it, that defines you? What you do.
What you do that matters. What you do, it is.
But we already talked about the
it does.
We already talked about the AT-ATs.
Yeah,
Thank you.
The
you.
fucking
Oh my God.
we finally got our theme for the fucking dark side, the Imperial March, out of this movie.
Oh my God.
Wait, real quick, Corey. Where can they find us on Twitter to tell us if they call it AT-AT or?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Please come on Twitter and tell us how you pronounce AT-AT.
AT-ATs.
And
please tell us how.
Yeah, no.
Please tell us how stupid Corey is.
Please come and tell me I'm right, because I've never heard AT-AT ever.
And what Twitter is that?
That would be CS Podcast 21 on Twitter.
Right on.
Please come tell us how right I am.
Why does my brain hurt when I hear him say "at"?
It's killing me.
Doug, how do you always fucking do this on podcasts? I thought I was going to be pissed at you the whole time. I'm still pissed about Mike saying the Wookiees like fucking Jar Jar, and now Corey's pissing me off more than you.
I always like prep you guys for all these things. I'm going to say that we'll absolutely tilt you, and then you guys manage to get pissed at other things instead. It's magical. So does our audience. They like never give me shit yet. Like when somebody just said something so wrong, how can you hold anything against me though, right?
So we're in Cloud City, right?
Right.
You know, Han, Leia, Chewie, they're all being,
Oh, awesome.
They're all being treated. They're all being treated
Might
nice.
gin and tonic are too. Could you mix me up another?
They're
There's
they're
a
all
city in the clouds with a keeping my crew. So a Jedi's got to do what a Jedi's got to do. So now Vader, I'm coming for you.
they're all being catered to. They're all
Doug
being
just made
nice
that
to
up.
them. They just made that up. They're all being nice, to our heroes, and except for C-3PO.
Yeah,
He
they
kinda-
blow his ass up.
He gets fucked right away.
Oh no!
Now,
Part of me's over there. Part of me's over there.
I wanna talk
More
about.
Chewie's looking for his friend C-3PO.
So clearly, Vader invites them to dinner. He wants to meet the new boy that his daughter's dating, obviously.
Exactly.
And what does Han do? He pulls his blaster out immediately and shoots at him. There's no bad vibes. What's going on there?
Right, Vader made them a nice. I don't know if you noticed the one
Han's not
fucking.
force sensitive. He doesn't fucking know.
I don't know if you noticed the one fucking glass dish is just full of meatballs for some reason.
Yeah.
It's a weird dinner, but still, Vader made
Those
them
were
dinner.
Wampa balls. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Womp rat balls.
Wait, Mike, are you sure Han's not force sensitive? Because he is a force ghost in The Rise of Skywalker. Oh, anyway. Yeah.
Well, maybe. I can't defend that. I don't.
Doug, have you seen that yet?
I'm not talking about the sequel, so we get to our episode.
Okay. You have been really quiet every time we bring something up.
Because I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I made that statement, and I meant it.
Yeah, I think Vader was a perfect gentleman, though, inviting Han over to...
Yeah, he even brought Billy D. Williams to talk to him.
He said he made them a whole fucking meal in this nice, white, beautiful room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what does Han do? He shoots at the
Shoot.
motherfucker.
He's just like, fuck this meal, dude. And he shoots him.
And,
Except he
and
misses.
people wonder why Vader altered the deal at that point. It was like, all right, bro.
Yeah.
I was going to offer you this nice shindig, but now I've altered the deal.
Pray I don't alter it further.
You guys are finally understanding that Vader's a good person.
That's right. You're swaying us. Yeah, it's Orlando says this deal's getting worse every day. And then Vader's like,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know I've given shit to Harrison Ford and stuff about phoning and stuff, but holy fuck, Billy D. Williams can't act his way out of anything.
He's very-
How the fuck that guy had a successful career? So
You mean
beyond
Harvey
it.
Dent from the 1989 Batman?
Don't trigger me.
And also another weird thing I noticed about that movie when I rewatched it is he's fucking Han for the whole first movie and then through this movie. But once they get to Cloud City, everybody keeps calling him Han. Like if you go back and watch it, I don't know why. Like Leia calls him Han. Fucking Lando.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Lando always calls him Han, and I think maybe it was just rubbing
Yeah.
off on the other people. I think that was just
Maybe it
Billy
was.
D. Williams doesn't read scripts.
Yeah, he's like Han. You want my hand?
Yeah, Chewbacca's choking him. He's like, hands alive.
Yes, my hands are on you.
3PO's like, I think he said Han.
Shut the fuck up, guys. Corey, what?
Well, it's not going to make sense now because they went so far past that.
Nah, just say it.
Listen. If
You
you're
guys see
talking,
my
you
lightsaber?
meet somebody in college, right? He's your roommate. His name is spelled Sean. That's Sean. We all know that. But if your roommate doesn't not a smart person, they call you Scene, and you're too nice to correct them, right? So for a year, you're Scene to that person because fuck it, he's a cool guy. But then you invite a friend of yours from childhood, and he calls you Sean. You're, as the roommate, going to start calling him Sean.
That's kind of what I was saying. Like,
So when
yeah.
Lando came in and said Han, they were like, "Oh shit, we've been saying it wrong."
See, here's the thing, though. Han is a dick, so he would have corrected them. So your whole theory falls apart.
No, because again, he wanted that pussy.
Oh yeah,
Don't correct the one. Don't. Okay. Yeah.
It's Millennium Falcon, not Millennium Falcon.
You fucking moron. Get out of the car.
It's Leviosa. Oh.
noise.
And also it's AT-AT.
It's definitely AT-AT. They even say it in the movie. And every video game. In the movie, every video game, every instance of its usage in any Star Wars anything.
Only Star Wars
Wrong.
noobs call it ats.
Wrong.
You're wrong.
It's almost
You're
like
wrong.
AT-AT
You're wrong.
represents
You're
guys.
wrong.
Have you seen my lightsaber? And then, of course, just to end The Empire Strikes Back, of course, at the time, in our lifetime, of course, the movie had been out for years, so we can't even imagine it as a plot twist. But at the time, imagine watching that movie in theaters in 1980 and finding out that that's his father. That had to have been like one of the biggest plot twists ever. Like to see
The
it
big
live.
baddie, yeah.
And then you had to wait
remember the machine?
and then you had to wait 3 fucking years because it wasn't like a Marvel movie like every year or like, you know, it's like you had to wait 3 fucking years. You get like 4 Marvel movies every year.
But they're
You
not
get
all
more than
MCU.
4.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
What are you talking
Who
about?
cares?
Morbius
Anyway.
is not MCU.
Yeah, moving on. Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi. Title crawl.
Star Wars.
So, Corey, I think we agree with the opinion that we both still love this movie, but it is both of our least favorite of the original trilogy.
Empire?
Return of
No,
the
no,
Jedi.
no.
He's moved to Return.
Holy fuck! You said Empire.
No, I said Return.
No, you did
I
not.
did the whole.
He's moving on.
Okay. I did not realize you
Doug's
were.
like, what the fuck? What are you
Yeah,
even
like
talking
we were talking
about?
about Empire, and you just like we were talking about plot twists, and you just fucking cut it.
Well, I know we
Doug,
had to move on.
Doug, do you even listen to this podcast?
I mean, you guys can expound your feelings
You
if
want
you
the
want.
honest answer, Mike?
I already know the answer. You're just like Adrian.
I mean, if you guys, if you want to expand on the plot twist, I mean, you guys can talk about it. I just figured we still have to get through the last movie.
It's a huge plot twist for sure. Yeah,
Well,
I
I've
mean,
seen a lot of interviews where people talk about how mind-blowing that was back
Yeah,
then.
even James Earl Jones thought it was a fucking lie when he read the script. He said, "Oh, he's lying."
Yeah, I
to
heard
him.
that.
He said he's lying to Luke, and he's like, how in the Return of the Jedi, or what? I don't know if they had the title at that time, but he's like, how is he going to form this lie? And they're like, no, that's real. You're his dad, bro.
And James Earl Jones loves Star Wars, by the way.
Why would it have been a lie? Well, I can see why it'd be a lie, just to fuck
Trying
with
to
the-
manipulate
To get him
hero.
to join the dark side.
Yeah,
Yeah. He will
but
join us.
instead it ended up being a lie because we got Death Star. You know that we got it, Death Star. All right. I have that. I've had that thing memorized for 20 years. I can't help it.
Yeah, you busted out some sick fucking bars tonight. Return of the Jedi. Okay, Corey. So I think we have. Corey, I think we've
Wait. What's your favorite scene from Empire?
Oh fuck!
mine's the AT-AT walker getting the harpoon
All
gun
right.
wrapped around it.
Classic scene. Classic scene.
See, I like when Luke teaches us all a lesson and cuts the stomach of that fucking animal open to sleep in it to stay warm.
That
Well, that's
was
Han.
That was Han.
Yeah,
So thanks for
You
saying
know.
nice things about Han.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I said I would. It was Han. You're right. Oh yeah, because Luke was all fucked up from that motorcycle
Luke was
accident.
fucked up. Oh yeah, he was like his real life motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
See, I know AT-AT, but I can't remember that fucking abominable
Yeah.
snowman's name. It has a name that scratches him and has. him
Oh
hanging
yeah,
upside down.
and Luke like cuts his arm off and shit.
My brother would know it. He's a
Yeah,
fucking-
because he
he's a
cuts it
huge
open
nerd.
and they talk about it.
Yeah,
No, he cuts a different animal open.
Yeah, he cuts the tauntaun open.
yeah, he cuts the tauntaun open. What's down there? Is that fucking Rancor?
He kills the fucking snowman from Rudolph, and we all know it. Okay, but my real favorite scene from Empire is when Luke and him are facing off, and he chops his fucking hand off to be like, "Shut the fuck up, kid! I'm trying to tell you something."
Yes, we didn't touch on that. You know how Vader was basically playing with Luke the entire time
Oh
until
yeah.
Luke actually gets a shot on him, and Vader's like, "How fucking dare you!" and starts throwing shit at him.
Yeah, Vader gets pissed when he gets him in the shoulder.
He's like, "Oh!"
Literally, at first, Vader's just using one hand. He's just like fighting him off with one hand. He fucking pushes him down the stairs. Luke's like, "You'll find I'm full of surprise," and then Vader just kicks his ass.
You are full of surprises.
And then Luke gets that lucky shot on him, and Vader's like, "How dare you!" and just starts chucking shit at him.
And
I'm
I
gonna
do-
make our father-son combo even better by de-handing you like me.
And I love how they came full circle with Dagobah, like during his training, like he's climbing those vines. And they use that later when he jumps up out of the pit to like climb the wires when like Vader's like swinging at him. That was a pretty cool callback.
He's like
Wow, I never
walking
even
up them.
really, I didn't really
He's gliding up them.
realize that.
Yeah, that was a
I think
nice.
he's actually using the Force to glide up those.
They set it up for like a later scene, him climbing all those wires. And
I
shit.
mean, yeah, you can't incorporate
Huh.
a training montage and then not utilize it at all.
Foreshadowing.
Exactly.
Rocky already had that set in steel before this came
Oh,
out.
don't worry. There will be an episode of Rocky.
You need a montage. Montage.
A training montage.
I mean, that was necessary in the 70s and 80s, obviously.
Yeah,
I love
it's,
training montages.
it's hard to
You were
say.
necessary in the 70s and 80s, obviously.
Nice.
And we
Thank
didn't
you.
have use, and look what happened.
You guys see my
the world's been burning.
No, it's hard to say anything other than like an Empire, the Luke and Vader confrontation. It's just the whole fucking thing is so good.
I think it just kind of like overshadows the rest of the movie.
It does. And then Han and the Carbonite. But it's that movie so hard. I can't pick one. I'm gonna call
I
out.
know.
I can't pick one. I know.
Because you guys already really what?
I ruined Adrian's joke. All right. Where were we?
It was going to be a jizz joke, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
would make no sense with us paused.
I know you love hearing us talk about jizz and our jizz-like adventures, but
God.
now we have to talk about Star Wars.
So before we move on to Return of the Jedi, Corey, you wanted to mention a scene.
Oh, yeah. Empire had a moment in it that was kind of two, I don't want to say background characters because Chewie's not a background character, but like two of the characters, secondary characters, I guess.
the
is
B
when-
team.
When
The B team.
C-3PO wanders into that room and all
AT-AT
those, I don't remember what they're called. All those little creatures start tearing him apart and throwing his pieces around.
Oh yeah.
And when Chewbacca finds him and like fights them to get all his parts back,
Yeah.
it kind of shows you like Chewie's loyalty to friends.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's just this stupid little robot that's annoying as shit, he's still gathering all his pieces and helping them out.
Bro,
What's with this random C-3PO hate?
Fuck you, Anthony Daniels.
No,
I don't hate C-3PO, but you have to admit that having a character like that following you around all the time would be really annoying.
Yeah, they shut him off a few times.
At
Yeah,
least
they
he
do.
actually talks.
Yeah,
Unlike the other droid that just beeps and
They were
boops.
gonna have R2D2 talk, and it would have been terrible.
Yeah, that would have been real stupid.
What
It's
up?
gonna be Danny DeVito.
I honestly think
You know,
I honestly think
Hey, Leia!
the beeping and booping and having C-3PO translated is more charming.
yeah,
I think
Yeah,
it puts
people-
a charm to the little droid.
people love R2 just like they love fucking BB-8 because he beeps and boops and bops and
Yeah, like that's just part of the thing why I've never really been into any of those droids. Like I
That
get
makes
what they're
sense.
there for, but
you prefer like
I'm
a
not really a.
KTSO.
It's like a Pokemon thing. Like people that like that show, they watch it and like the Pokemon are like Pika 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 Pika. It's like, oh man, I'm feeling that vibe, Pikachu. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You can pay $5 and have your Alexa just talk to you as Pikachu, and that's all it says.
It just says Pika.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Why would you spend $5 on that?
Is there like some
I-
canonical?
I probably will eventually.
Is there some
Oh my
canonical
God.
language where like he's actually
No.
saying stuff you can
No,
understand?
it just says Pika 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 P. Pika Pika Pikachu, and
Yeah.
it means whatever the
Understood.
fuck it has to mean. It's like Squanch.
I would pay
Smurf.
$5 for my Alexa to sound like Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah.
I bought the Samuel L. Jackson one.
There's one time
Nice.
you can understand Pikachu. Mike, you want to tell us when it is? Ryan Reynolds.
Hey, Ryan, it's me, Pikachu.
But you can only hear Pikachu talk as long as Ryan Reynolds is in him.
Right.
And
Yep.
giggity.
Oh,
Oh god.
But then at the end of the movie, when he splits into two and
And
becomes
When he splits Pikachu in
when he
half.
splits him in two, he traumatizes him so hard that he goes right back to Pikachu.
Splits him in two, he traumatizes
He,
him.
he reverts him back to only having one word in his vocabulary.
so Star Wars, guys. How
Oh,
about
that-
Star Wars?
A jolly good ribbing will do that too.
Jolly good ribbing. Well, with that being said, I'm going to change my lightsaber over to green, so we can talk about title crawl, Return of the Jedi. You guys see my green lightsaber?
I did.
Was there anything left from? No, Empire's pretty.
We're solid on that.
As great as it is, like it really comes down to a handful of really iconic moments,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Yeah.
rest of it's just kind of there.
Yeah, like I said, it's hard to pick between
You
introducing
could really
Yoda,
see
Luke
the difference
training.
in budget between the first and second movie.
Yeah,
I
you
wasn't talking shit, Mike. I was just
I know, but
double
you guys just
vodka.
really hate Return of the Jedi. That's like the fourth time we've tried to go to it. You're like, no. Empire Strikes Back, though.
I just don't want us to rush to actually talking about the movies when we spent the first hour
I know.
just cracking jokes.
I know, it just cracked me up. That's all. No, another point.
And it's like you guys said, Empire is like universally revered as the best Star Wars. So if we just brush over it,
It's easily my favorite one out of all of the Star Wars movies that's ever been released.
it's my second favorite.
Okay, I'm finished.
Okay, fine. Yeah, it's my
No.
favorite.
Okay. I think.
No, I mean we could.
And
we
don't
could-
worry, folks. When we get to the very end of all 9 movies, we're gonna have to list all 9 of them in order.
Fuck it. I'll throw the soft ones in there too.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wait,
How,
do we do
how
this
much we like them?
Oh, okay. 3, 4, 5.
Best to worst.
1, 2,
we
3.
rank them from
So
worst
it's
to best.
nine.
Oh,
Rank
best to
them from
worst.
best to worst.
So
Oh,
Adrian's
right.
gonna cop out and like put 2 of them as the number 1, right?
No, I have a number 1.
He's going to struggle real hard.
Don't
I'm gonna
worry,
struggle
that's
with
gonna be like
worst, 'cause there's so
7
many
years
bad
from now
ones.
when we finally get to that episode.
I
So-
know.
Adrian, you're
Okay,
like
shut the
really
fuck up.
muffled right now.
All right. Should we
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, let's move on to the Return of the Jedi. I think we what are we going to say about Empire that everybody doesn't already know?
No, I think that's fine. Like I said, I just didn't want to brush it. I think we covered it now, but before it's like we were just kind of like blitzing it.
We
Return of
did
the-
discover that. We did discover that Corey says AT-AT wrong.
Fuck your AT-AT at argument
Return of the Jedi. Also, I did not expect that to
because
be
it's
the biggest.
AT-AT.
I did not expect that to be the biggest controversy of this episode. I have to be honest.
The AT-AT at.
I think that's the second biggest controversy next to the one where he said JarJar Binks and
They are
Chewbacca.
not-
are the same.
It's
Oh,
basically the
God.
same person.
Yeah.
No.
Just like Mike hates Breath of the Wild.
That's why Mike is pushing the AT-AT thing on me so hard because he wants
Yeah.
us to forget that.
Mike loves to try to backpedal like this, but it's like he forgets that it's recorded forever on the internet.
Yeah, Doug, when you're editing, just remember that Mike said Chewbacca is essentially Jar Jar Binks in every way.
Don't
Needs to
worry.
pick your opinion. It's bullshit.
This is bullshit.
It's not an opinion, Mike. It's literally there. It's a fact.
Yeah,
of
you
life.
said it.
You
It's
can't
gonna be on
just
here forever.
America your way out of it.
You see, Mike, well, you know what's too bad is you didn't say that in last week's episode, but now it's on here forever. You didn't make that
That's true.
comparison. So, Return of the Jedi, also not directed by George Lucas. Richard
What?
Marquand, I believe was his name. Do you know who George Lucas actually wanted to get to do the movie? His good
Who?
buddy
Steven
Steven
Spielberg.
Spielberg.
Steven
Yep.
Spielberg, yeah.
How did he not?
So what happened is Lucas was forced to leave the Directors Guild because his title crawl that he used for the movies. So like back then they required you to have the cast members in your title. And he had the choice to either put his cast in there or to leave the Directors Guild, and he left the Directors Guild because he stood by his title crawls.
Solid choice.
I mean, those title crawls are iconic.
They are. And Spielberg was part of the Directors Guild, so contractually he couldn't do his movie.
Fuck you, Directors Guild.
So wait, could you imagine Return of the Jedi with Steven Spielberg?
It'd been pretty
Would have
fucking
been
great.
probably the best Star Wars.
It probably would have been.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox would have been Boba Fett.
He would have been Boba Fett.
Oh, fuck Boba
Yeah.
Fett, man.
Yeah, I don't understand why Boba Fett is such a.
Let's have 18 seconds of screen time and then a whole fandom is established.
I don't understand why he's such a legacy character.
Yeah, who the fuck?
My brother's obsessed with Boba Fett. And Matt, you suck.
Return of the Jedi. Corey can explain it a little bit if he wants. I think the movie starts really fucking strong in Jabba's palace. I think the movie, the climax at the end is amazing. It's a real, tear-jerking moment. But it's just the middle stuff in it that makes it my least favorite of the original trilogy. The whole Forest Moon of Endor stuff I kind of check out for. I love the beginning. I love the first 40 minutes. I love the last half hour. It's just that middle, 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes that kind of boring to me. The fucking Ewoks.
Yeah, nobody cares about the Ewoks.
Right.
I like the Ewoks.
Yeah, like I said, nobody cares about the
Like we
Ewoks.
said.
Nobody
Hold on.
he walks.
I only like the Ewoks during the Battle of Endor. I don't really care for them before
Yes,
that.
they're actually very useful during that. Some of the
They're-
ways they fight are kind of clever.
They're very resourceful.
Old guerrilla
just-
warfare.
Yeah, I mean, other than fucking Leia choking out Jabba the Hutt, because that was fucking awesome. But once you get past that first Jabba's palace scene, this definitely feels more kiddie to me compared to when I just watched fucking Empire, which was a lot darker tonally. It just once they start the Ewok thing, it felt like a fucking cash grab for toys. and shit like that. I didn't like Ewoks like taking out stormtroopers. That didn't feel realistic to me.
Well, the stormtroopers can't fucking shoot.
They suck.
The reason
kill
that
one,
was
though.
actually possible is
They did. That was awesome.
Ewoks were like the native to that land, and they had like guerrilla warfare that the stormtroopers just aren't trained for. So Ewoks were able to stop them with like old-fashioned traps and
I do like the log trap they set up.
yeah,
But like
that's
when
what I
they're
mean.
just like swinging those rocks around, hitting them in the head, it's like, bro,
Yeah,
they're fully armored
that's
up. That's
stupid.
not going to do anything to them.
Can you not though? Can the moment that Luke makes a C-3PO float and they think C-3PO is the god,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's a fun little sequence. And
I
then
just-
Han's like roped up trying to blow out the fires, like.
I just like I think like you said the beginning of that movie when Luke just like rolls in and fucking
Oh,
shows
yeah.
I'm the G now, get out
Yes,
of my
sir.
way, and does everything he wants to do without fault. Like
Right.
we
Luke's
finally
fucking
get to see what a
man.
Jedi can be in the series.
at the end of Empire, he's still slightly unsure of himself, and at the beginning of Return, he's like a fucking badass.
Well, how many years have passed between the two movies? Yeah.
Was it supposed to be that many years though?
Yeah.
Yeah, Han was in
Han was in
that
carbonate for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I knew
I
that.
thought it-
but years.
I thought it was
Yeah.
a couple years. Yeah,
Yeah, it's at
I
least like
didn't
3 or
know
4
that.
years.
like Luke went and finished his training and came back.
You got to think about it like this, Corey. In the first movie, the Death Star is blowing up, and
3
in the
years,
third
yeah, you
movie,
guys
it's
are right.
almost completely built again.
Yeah, 3 years. Okay, I thought it
You
was
think
2, but 3.
You think that happened in like a matter of months?
Let me just clarify real quick. Sorry, I misspoke. So 3 years is between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It's actually only 1 year between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Ah,
But that's still a year of training.
Yeah, compared to like a
He
week.
went back and finished his training in Dagobah with Yoda.
Well,
well, I know that. I can see a year, but 3 didn't seem realistic.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That they'd wait that
Wait, there
long
was
to
a
go get Han.
3-year time jump between 4 and 5.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
That's back. That seems backwards to me.
Right.
Because like it doesn't seem like Luke learned anything between 1 and
Well, he wasn't trained yet.
yeah, he didn't go to Yoda yet.
And it feels like on Hoth. No, it makes sense because I remember hearing like when they were on Hoth, like they were sending out little droids to find them. Like they were looking for them for years.
Oh, that's fair. And I guess they had established a base, built like a level of command. Like he was a commander now. He wasn't just like some jackass that shoots swamp rats for fun.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's saying that in multiple sources. Empire
All right.
Strikes Back picked up the story 3 years after.
I mean, I believe it. It just sounds
It does sound backwards.
story structure wise backwards. Yeah, like
That on the barge is kind of badass when R2 shoots the fucking lightsaber for Luke to catch.
Oh,
And he
hell
just
yeah.
starts fucking, and he just starts
Except
fucking
in-
people up.
Oh, he
as
shoots
we've
it out
all
of his
seen,
little.
and he didn't need him to do that because he could have just brought the lightsaber to him himself.
Right. They had to make it a little more epic.
I mean, yeah, but they would have saw that coming.
I love how Han's blind, like from the carbonite poisoning, and then he like has the gun. He's trying to save Lando's. Lando's like, "I thought you were
Yeah.
blind." He's like, "No, I can see much better now."
He's like, no, don't
Right.
let it eat me.
I think Han probably is his funniest in this movie,
Oh yeah,
which is
He is
surprising
probably-
because Harrison Ford came back like against his wishes. I'm surprised he was so
That's-
like.
He got a lot of sleep.
I think they offered him a lot of money.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah,
Harrison Ford's always wanted to get a check.
he is.
That's for sure.
And then like when they're still in Jabba's palace and fucking Han still can't see, he's like, Luke. He's like beside Luke. He's like, Luke, how we doing? Luke's like, same as always. He says, that bad, huh? He just recognizes they're always in a shit situation.
Well, isn't he the one that always says I have a bad feeling about this?
Yeah,
In the-
that's-
in the originals.
Well,
Right.
in any story, when you're the rebellion, you're usually the one that's struggling a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Leia says it in Empire when they're out, like when they're in that asteroid and they think they're on a rock,
Yeah.
but they're actually on that worm. She's like, I have a bad feeling about this. They're like, this ground is squishy.
I forgot all about that worm.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that one probably doesn't hold up as well.
No, it's
What, the
it's
wor-
pretty rough.
The worm, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's probably the weakest scene or scenes,
Like
in
effect.
Empire.
Oh yeah.
I meant visually, I think is what they were talking about.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
I'm talking about. Just in general.
Oh.
though.
In general, it's just a weaker
See,
scene.
I'm gonna just say it. Due to their age, I don't think like you can even compare the visuals to modern day standards.
No,
but
you can't.
for what
No.
the time they were great, but
For a long time, they were the gold standard.
Yeah, to even pretend like 4 holds up to today is just
right.
I'm very good at watching a movie and taking myself to when it was made.
Yeah, and that's fine, and that's fine.
No, that's one thing I'll say about like the sequel series. Like The Last Jedi fucking looks beautiful. If you say A New Hope like still looks better than The Last Jedi, like you're lying. And Doug won't say anything. I'm just trying to. Even when I give it a compliment, I'm seeing if he'll say anything, and he won't.
Just me and Doug are gonna just scream at you the whole fucking 2 hours when we do this.
It's all right, Adrian. I'll be on your side.
That's right. That one will be split right down the middle.
Adrian, how do you feel? You got Mike on your side.
I have most of the Star Wars fan base on my side, so I feel pretty good.
Most.
I have Mark Hamill and John Boyega on my side.
And I'm great at arguing.
Oh, is that most?
Well, most of the Star Wars fan base. Plus, I have fucking Mark Hamill on my side.
You were really stretching that most. Where'd you read that?
What you think? You think most people?
Sounds like a Corey made up statistic to me.
Pretty common to run into people who hate the sequel.
The Disney movies.
Guys, this ain't the sequel episode.
I just thought, that blows my mind. Most people don't like this. Okay, so what do we think, Corey? Did you want to? Did I pretty much cover the same reasons why we don't like Return of the Jedi as much?
It's pretty much all I don't like about it is I like the campiness of a lot of Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
But they did a little too much cheese in this one.
Yeah.
Which is why it's actually pretty low on my list from all 9 movies.
Oh.
I think they were...
There's a few above it.
I think they were trying to like cater to a younger crowd with the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. The ending's pretty brutal.
I mean, yeah, you do see Anakin's skeletal structure through.
Like I said, I feel like it's 2 different movies. Like the beginning and the end are awesome. If that whole movie carried that tone, like it could be my favorite. But it's
I love the end sequence when he's trying to like when he's trying to like turn Luke, but Luke ends up turning him.
Exactly. Yeah. And then like when they're just walking down the corridor and Luke's not even putting up a fight to go see the Emperor,
and
he's a close
unlimited power.
That's right.
And I definitely think that I used the correct term by saying Anakin's skeletal structure because I think at that point he's no longer Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, like when he makes that decision to save Luke, he's like reverted back to.
Well,
I think
it's 100% guaranteed he's not Darth Vader at that point because he became a Force ghost. You can't be a Sith and become.
He didn't die yet.
So.
He was still technically alive.
I see what you're saying.
But that was the point where it definitely happened.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I feel like the Sith could become Force ghosts if they wanted to.
No, I think it's literally in the lore that if you're of evil, dark side,
I don't know. They burnt those books.
That's true.
They burnt those books. Page turners, they're not.
They didn't though.
Sith by nature isn't a classification of evil. It's a classification of how much you allow yourself to feel.
But if a Sith can become a Force ghost, why have we not seen it?
Because they didn't learn the move that Qui-Gon learned from his master that somehow everybody knew before Qui-Gon was written.
Well, you see, Corey, from a certain point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Jesus Christ.
And they'd never tell you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. That's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
That's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Favorite scene?
Ooh. This one, like A New Hope, I have so many that it's hard to pick from, but I think I'm kind of in agreement as far as Adrian and Corey go, that the movie starts off so strong. That entire like fight with on the barge and Leia just choking out Jabba,
besides Luke's fucking missed kick that the guy reacts to.
Yeah.
He's a Force user, not a martial artist.
The entire Jabba's palace into the barge is just my favorite part of the entire movie.
I know Doug's favorite part.
What?
When Boba Fett gets knocked into the Sarlacc pit.
The Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
How do you hate Han Solo so much? He's the reason that happens.
Yeah, Han put that motherfucker in the Sarlacc pit to digest for 1,000 years.
You know what? I've held off long enough. Han Solo is a one-note, super boring, mundane asshole.
How's he boring?
I'm supposed to be a lovable good guy with no lovable redeeming qualities.
I don't think he's supposed to be a lovable good guy.
He actually does have redeemable qualities.
He's supposed to be a lovable
by the time the trilogy ends, he absolutely has redeemable qualities.
Yeah, he saved Luke's ass more than
Like-
Luke saved him. He's funny. He's charismatic.
This one I'm not even joking
not
about.
funny.
He's very funny.
He has some of the
I think he's got
Yeah,
quite.
He
a
has
few
a
funny
couple
lines.
like comedic moments, but so does C3PO.
Well, Han Solo is just as much comedy in that movie as the fucking droids are. Like, nobody else is really that funny. Han is one of the pillars of jokes in the movies.
A lot of his one-liners just don't do it for me.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, me too. I'm not typically a Harrison Ford fan, really, but
I'm also just not a Harrison Ford fan at all. I don't like Indiana Jones.
How dare
If
you?
it wasn't for the director's cut, I wouldn't like Blade Runner. Like,
Right.
Indiana Jones is okay to me, not my favorite. I honestly, I think that Han Solo is probably the only thing I really love about Harrison Ford's work.
Like his filmography.
I'm 100% convinced the only reason Han Solo is popular is because people's nostalgia for the character. And if they would just stop and like really break it down, they'd see there's just not much to him. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And opinions can't be wrong nowadays. So.
I
Not
think
bro, your
Han,
opinion sucks.
I think Han
There
in
we
his
go.
Han in his own way, I think, is just as strong as Luke and Leia easily. Like, I think he holds up that original trilogy as much as they do.
I will say this: if Han Solo didn't exist, if they would have killed him off in the beginning, Kylo Ren wouldn't exist. So,
I love Kylo Ren, and Doug's not going to say anything.
Kylo Ren is one of the best fucking.
they could have found
antagonists in the
another
whole
way
He
for
was gonna say
Kylo Ren to
something.
exist.
no, shut up.
Just like they would have found another way out of the trash compactor if R2D2 wasn't there.
That's not true.
No,
Yeah, that's
no.
not true.
There's no other way out.
Definitely not true.
Corey jumped in there, so that's not true.
I digress.
I disagree.
That, when
I
Luke's
held
like,
that
"Oh,
in all episode. I had to fucking just finally like burn it out there. Also, R2D2 is the only character worse than Han Solo. But okay, wait. Billy D. Williams exists, so
Billy
I
D.
guess
Williams?
he's the worst.
To our many listeners that love our podcast, please go to our social media and tell Doug how wrong he is.
About both R2
and when you
Han.
line up to agree with me, these guys are gonna actually die.
Line up.
Doug, you definitely can't think you're right about that. R2D2 is one of the most popular things, period.
I have a picture. I have a picture of me dressed as Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker.
So,
Wait. But you don't have the hair.
Well, not now.
favorite scene.
Yes.
Oh God. Well, I mean, the final confrontation, like probably after they're done fighting, after he throws him down the fucking whatever you call it, after he throws the Emperor down, which doesn't
Down the
matter.
The fucking
The shaft, giggity. Which doesn't matter
Stop
because that
bending the
was
shaft.
that was apparently just one clone interpretation of Sidious, and there's a bunch of them. But never mind, we'll get to that again.
We digress.
Meaning Darth Vader's whole story arc means nothing because the sequels shit all over that. But
so
when-
did the prequels.
they did. But when Luke's just talking to his father, like when he takes off the mask and says, "I need to save you," and his father says, "You already have."
Maybe we have daddy issues, Adrian, because that's my favorite part too.
Very well could be. But yeah, that's my favorite
1
moment.
minute.
That just gets me emotional every single time.
Take off my mask so I can see you with my own eyes.
And I still think it's a great finale for the original trilogy. It's just that middle half hour in Endor.
And then he's not James Earl Jones.
you're like,
They lied to us for 3 straight
See,
movies.
Like I feel like the same way about the forest on Endor as I do about the part on Hoth in 5. Honestly, It's just-
Really?
Yeah, it was just there was a whole lot of nothing going on in my opinion, and it
Okay.
could have been stronger without them.
You bastard!
Those
I'll kill
parts.
you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's the least passionate I've ever said that.
I know.
you bastard, I'll kill you.
There's literally like recording of you like breaking and be like, "You son of a bitch!" Like, Corey, favorite scene? You already said it.
Yeah, mine was the
You already
same.
said it, and I love when Boba Fett dies because fuck him. I also
Boba
like
Fett?
the entire end
Boba Fett,
sequence.
where?
Yeah, the ending sequence. Yeah, and Luke, like I said, just Luke walking down that corridor, and Darth Vader's like, "Oh, so you finally accepted the truth." I just love the two of them talking, like they're on opposite sides, but they're still just Luke's trying to sway him, he's trying to sway him.
And I mean, of course, we got the Rancor
Yeah.
Yes.
and,
What's-
and
what's-
that's a fun
Yoda.
scene.
Yoda dying, like that was pretty
Yeah.
sad. All right, Adrian, go first.
I'll be doing some Star Wars videos at the beginning of May. I may do a ranking. I don't know which is going to come out first, my podcast ranking here with these guys or my YouTube video. But if you watch one, you'll know my ranking going into the other. So check that out for May the 4th. Baker Reviews on YouTube.
If you want to come follow us on Facebook, it's just Culture Shocked on podcast on Facebook. Instagram, it is Culture Shocked 21. And if you want to come to Twitter, where we do most of our business, you can come and tell us how wrong we are, how right we are. We love hearing all of it. Come follow us on CS Podcast 21 and on Twitter. And please go rate us and review us anywhere you get your podcast. It really helps a lot.
And don't be discouraged by if you feel like we didn't touch on something in this episode, because this is just part 1 of 3+. So give it time.
And be sure to check out our live stream for The Cure on May 19th. It is for cancer research. We are raising money. It's going to be a 72-hour live stream. We have different podcasts. We will be on from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Come check us out. Anything you can do definitely helps.
All right, so that's going to do it from all of us here at Culture Shocked. Thanks for listening.
Star Wars is cool.
Ooh.